This is Speaking of Writers. I'm Steve Richards. This is the Speaking of Writers podcast. I'm Steve Richards. In life, the choices we make determine our levels of success or regret. Ultra successful people, the super rich, rarely take a look back at the lessons of the past. That privilege is often reserved for the regretful. And whether we show it or not, many of us have our secret regrets. The book is God That's Effed Up, the story of my life from a seated perspective. The author is Johnnie Williams. Happy to have Johnnie Williams back on this program. Welcome, Johnnie.
How you doing, Steve? Good to talk to you again.
Nice to talk to you. So what made you decide to write this book?
Oh, I had a lot going on in my head at the time, and I just didn't know how to get it out. I've talked to therapists, I've talked to friends, I've talked to family members, and it was just I never could get it all out just to clear my head. So one day I just started writing, and I mean, I started to feel better as the days went on.
So this was helpful for you, writing this book.
Extremely, extremely helpful. It was kind of a weird process because while I was writing it, I felt better, but it also made me remember things that I was trying to repress. So I felt better, but I would sometimes feel worse because I would get disheartened. But I knew by going through that process that once I finished and said everything I needed to say, that I would be clearer and better for it.
It felt really good, I'm sure.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing.
All right. I'm sure you get asked this a lot. The title, God That's Effed Up. How did you come up
Yeah.
with that?
Well, first of all, I wanted something that was eye-catching.
Mm.
Um, but really, what it was, because there's so many different. I've played so many different roles in my life. I've been the good guy. I've been the bad guy. I've been the hero. I've been a villain. I've been helpful. I've been hurtful. So I've done so many things in my life that I never really knew what my purpose was. So it was just a way of me saying that, it's effed up that I've had to go through all of this to find out who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing right now.
Who are you, Johnnie Williams?
Oh man, I'm amazing.
Mm.
I'm amazing. I mean, I'm just the average guy, but I'm extremely extraordinary, and I'm blessed to be able to still do the things that I can and have the freedoms that I have to do them at the same time.
What's your background? I know you served in the Army. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I served in the military. I'm a Paralympian. Uh, I'm a brand ambassador. I'm a father. I'm a son. I'm a friend. I mean, like I said, I wear so many different hats that I just try to be what I can be in every moment that I can be in.
Did you always want to write?
No, no, writing was after doing a lot of research and a lot of therapy. It first started out as just something to kind of get the thoughts out of my head, kind of like journaling and keeping a dream log. And once I realized that it did have therapeutic value, I started to I went back uh, in my computer and I had actually started writing in I think it was 2009, and I went back and started to kind of just do an outline of the different events that have gone on in my life since then, and it ended up it ended up kind of pointing me in a direction of there was so much between the different subjects that I just figured, hey, let me just write something down and kind of see what I'm working with. And once I realized it was about 50 pages, I was like, oh well, let me go back and kind of, juice this up a little bit and make it more interesting. And it just, like I said, it made me feel better, and it made me start to remember things that I had forgotten. I was recalling so much bad and negative energy that I had forgotten all the good things that have happened to me in my life. And so as I got all of that negativity out of my head, the positivity started to raise, and I started to enjoy just being me more.
What have you learned from going through this process?
I've learned to let myself make mistakes, and I learned that failure is a part of the process. It's not permanent. Disappointments, failures, they happen, but if we don't dwell on them and we look at the bigger picture, then there's nothing that you can't do or get accomplished.
How do you deal with criticism?
I welcome it. I welcome it because any criticism that I receive, if it's truthful, then it can only make me better. Now, if you're just being a troll, I laugh at it and I'll probably come back with something quizzical to kind of confuse you. But I welcome constructive criticism. It's a part of the process.
Johnny, if you could go back in your life and change anything, what would it be and why?
I've actually thought about this question quite a few times. Um, I wouldn't change anything because the trials and tribulations that I've gone through in my life have gotten me to this point and made me who I am. And if I go back and change one lesson that I learned or didn't learn, then I may not be in this position right now. So I wouldn't change anything, even if I had the opportunity to do
I want to talk to you about self-publishing. This is now your second book. What has the process been like for you, self-publishing your books?
it. It's been a roller coaster. It's been a roller coaster. When I first started, and actually it's four books. This is actually my fourth.
Hmm.
When I first started, uh, I didn't know what I was doing. I basically just put something out there just to kind of test the water and gain some knowledge. Um, and as I put out my second, third, and fourth, they actually were recognized and received a reward from the publishing company. And I was ecstatic because I knew it was good for me, but I didn't know the value it held for other people or could hold for other people. Just to know that it was appreciated, it was a blessing, and it did come with an additional price tag. But if you truly believe in yourself, then you have to invest in yourself.
So you have four books. Will there
Yes.
be a fifth?
Um,
You're liking this writing thing,
I
right?
I, I do. I'm hoping that it will be a fifth. I'm currently working on a fifth in a rough outline. It hasn't gotten to the point where I'm satisfied with it. So, in writing, it's easy to just put something out that you don't truly believe is finished or believe in completely. So, but I'm at a point where I think it's good, but I just want it to be a little bit better to where I'm satisfied with putting it out and putting my name on it.
And Johnny, what's the main message that you would like the listening audience and viewing audience here to take away from this book?
I just want people to believe in themselves and never quit and know that there's going to be disappointments, there's going to be letdowns, there are going to be failures and setbacks. And as long as you believe in yourself and stay goal oriented in whatever you're doing and you're happy, then there's no such thing as a bad day because you will only focus on the positive. And hey, tomorrow might not be good, but today might not be good, but tomorrow could be better, will be better.
The book is God That's Effed Up, The Story of My Life from a Seated Perspective from Johnnie Williams, his fourth book. It is available at writersrepublic.com, amazon.com, and barnesandnoble.com too. Johnnie, thank you for joining me again.
Thank you, Steve. It was a pleasure to be on your show again.
Thank you. And this is the Speaking of Writers podcast. This is Speaking of Writers. I'm Steve Richards.